Welcome to Modern Monday at your Guardian Games. This is Nick Beekert speaking. I'm here with my co-host.
Bradley Brown.
Yeah.
Very happy to be joining you this evening.
Yeah, and we should have a really fun round one for you today. We got Greg on Merfolk, he told me. I've never seen Greg play Merfolk before. He's usually a big Hammer Time gamer, so that's pretty interesting.
Greg said he went 2-1 with Fish on Thursday last week.
Okay.
And,
Decided it's 66%.
Yep.
It's the best deck in the format.
now he is a Merfolk gamer.
That's great. And then Miles is playing a little bit of a brew. It's got like Stoneforge Mystic, but it also has an Asmo food package, and he's borrowing 4 of my Scrapwork Mutts. So hopefully they serve him well.
Scrapwork Mutt. Interesting choice from Miles. That sounds like a lot of Modern Horizons 2 cards, Nick.
Well, he's got Urza Saga in his deck, which is a card we know should be banned, at least according to Miles.
100%. Solitude, ban it.
Ban it. I don't think he's playing Solitude yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I think he's fine as far as that goes.
We've probably got new Nahiri in there. All kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, he's a big fan of Ranger Captain of EOS, which is actually pretty cool because it can tutor up the Asmo. I've never played that particular. I've played some Asmo decks. I've never played that particular combination of cards: Ranger Captain of EOS and Asmo.
You're saying he's got Ranger Captain in his deck tonight?
He does.
Probably getting Esper Sentinel, Ragavan,
And
that
Asmo.
stuff. And right.
Yeah.
Right. Miles, stretching his comfort level as a modern player.
Yeah.
This is good. Miles has been playing 5-color humans and other variants of humans for quite some time here at Guardian Games, for maybe like 8 years, 7
Well,
years.
he used to be a big Eldrazi player.
That's true. That's true.
He loved Eldrazi's, but I guess they're not. He's not having too much success with the Eldrazi lately.
Yeah.
So he pivoted a little bit. Nor with the humans, to be fair. So he's trying to pivot a little bit.
But, you know, he's always optimistic, always positive about
Yeah,
the state
that's
of
right.
state of his pet deck in
That's
the meta.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
He's not a quitter.
No, he definitely is not.
So don't let us misconstrue what's happening here. He's just exploring his range.
That's right.
All right,
And,
so a little bit of an awkward hand for Miles. It looks like he's got double Saga, but maybe no other lands.
I see lots of Merfolk from Greg.
Already a Fish fan in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, strong start. Springleaf Drum kind of helps your
It
Mono
does.
Urza Saga start.
It does.
Yeah, it makes you feel a little bit better.
I think
playing
he's
it on
also
turn one.
has. I think he also has Aether Vials in his deck.
Really, that's kind of cute with Asmo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to help his color screw potentially. Now, one thing to look out for is if Greg has Tide Shaper, he just gets the Stone Rain Miles here.
Pretty gross.
Yeah, pretty powerful.
I see Trickster,
He's got that.
Curse Catcher. No.
I think that's a. I forgot what the name of the card is. It's like you can sacrifice it to prevent things from. It's like a Containment Priest.
It's the creativity
Yeah.
card in the main.
Yeah.
Doggin. There's that Merfolk Trickster. Not doing a ton here.
All right, Scrapper Mutt's going to come down. That's a discard outlet. So I think Miles even has the Asmo to follow up. So this is a pretty good sequence for him.
And Daredevil coming in
Yeah.
off the mutt. Real nice. Look at this sequencing from Miles. A pro already.
Yeah. Very well done. So he's going to tutor up a cookbook here. That's what Asmo does. Asmo pretty strong against these creature decks. All right, so we've got, I think it's called Mistcaller.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah. And so this is a sort of a metagame choice. It's good against like creativity, but also like Yawgmoth, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good against
it stop
Living
rhinos?
End. What?
Does it stop rhinos?
Yeah, I believe it. I don't know, actually. We'd have to pull up the
Card reader?
card reader. I don't actually know how to do that. We are.
I'm on it. I'm on the a manual card reader.
Yeah. Sorry, chat. We're a little bit technologically impaired here.
Mistcaller specifies non-token creature. So
not a hallowed moonlight. So
No.
it doesn't quite hit rhinos.
still strong though. I think.
Yeah, still pretty
Strong
good. I
choice.
mean, you got to have some 1-drops in your Merfolk deck.
Thank you, Wendy Witch.
Yeah.
Greg's got a lord. Miles is talking about good and bad magic
I
cards.
think he's getting heckled from the backup feature, maybe.
Yes, which if we do get there, I'm looking forward to. It's a battle of the Frenches. We have two siblings playing against each other.
All right, so Miles deciding if he wants to make a token here by tapping this Springleaf Drum, or if he wants to just make mana.
I think making it, well, it depends on the texture of his hand, but yeah, I think making a friend
And
is
he does have to
correct.
tap a creature to do that. Yeah. Yep.
Now, the real question, what is Miles using as his construct tokens? Okay, all right. Not very creative, but
but it gets the job done.
it does.
We got to
It does.
respect the token game a little bit.
Yeah. What's he going to get here?
And he remembered his oval chase trigger, which I constantly forget.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Food decks have a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's not really relevant until you actually get the loop going, so it's not a huge deal because he would have had another artifact enter now,
Sure.
which would give him another opportunity to miss the trigger if you're me, but
Right.
you know.
Still, it's free real estate.
Yeah.
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 Greg with this trickster kind of lingering in his hand. He's been sitting on it since turn
So
2.
Trickster does Doomblade the token, I suppose.
It's true.
So that's a good interaction for Greg
Right.
to have access to. However, all his creatures are going to start dying very quickly here
Yeah.
to this Asmo.
Asmo, the bane of creature
Ooh,
decks.
but Greg might have the Lord that lets him counter this cookbook.
He does have a hex catcher in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good exchange because that second cookbook was representing one Merfolk dead every turn cycle, which I think would have probably been game over. At least now he gets to keep playing, I think.
It's your turn. Actually, no, wait. Hold on. That's a 2-2. I'll beat you up for 3, actually.
Yeah, that seems. Yeah, kill the construct. Trade up with the Asmo.
Yep, this is probably a
That's tough exchange for Miles.
yeah. Miles probably not thinking that one through entirely,
Hmm.
which is fair. Merfolk's pretty hard to play against. A lot of flash creatures and things.
And the Violent edition.
Yeah.
Another Lord, so we got triple Lord if Greg wants it.
Yeah.
Lords are good. So holding up potentially a 4/4 blocker on Miles' combat step.
Miles looking to dig his food token out of his box there. Found it. Nice. Token game remains on point.
Again, uncreative, but clear.
Yeah, this is one of the downsides of the food deck. Sometimes you get a bunch of oval chases stuck in your hand.
Right. And he's pretty choked on colored mana here if he wants to be blocking or doing anything spicy with the scrapwork mutt. Also, he has a Cauldron in his hand, which is kind of a bummer. I think he had that in his opening 7.
Yeah. So, he does have a recommission, but that's going to get countered, I think, because he's choked on mana. I mean, it would still represent a 2-for-1 on this board. Like, Greg would have to... Oh, wait, actually, the Mistcaller will just counter it on its own with the effect.
True.
Yeah, so...
So Miles sees
already
that
doing work,
interaction.
yeah. And Greg would have to see it as well.
Miles passing the turn. All right, Greg's got Otawara in hand.
All right, and an island.
Yep.
He has no legendary creatures to get a discount on it, though.
Nope.
His Creatures are pretty big. I mean, I feel like the Merfolk is almost going to be bigger than I guess the cookbook represents, so it's not quite going to be the case.
Yeah, Miles has, what is that going to be? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, I think.
6 with another food.
Yeah, once he
Yeah.
makes the second food, yeah.
That's a big donkey. Can be bounced by Otawara if he rips another land, but
Right.
we're probably looking at two
Two of
more
them.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Shadow Spear is going to probably come down also.
Yeah.
So this is a game still.
What's the CMC of Umezawa's Chite?
2.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. We can't get that one off Saga.
Right.
We'd also get a game loss for putting a banned card in our deck.
It's
but
true. Just curious about sort of future things that could or that may or may not happen in the format.
I do think that if that card got unbanned, Hammer Time would still play it.
Yes.
Because they just get it with Stoneforge Mystic, so.
Yeah. Powerful magic card.
Yeah.
Skull Clamp though.
Pretty strong. Skull Clamp you could get off Saga, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm a big Skull Clamp enjoyer.
I'm sure EDH players are like, yes, of course they do.
All right, we did get Shadow Spear, but I guess we can't equip it this turn. So that's a reprieve for Greg.
This is a tough spot.
Greg, I mean, I think he has enough power in play that if he top decks the Tide Shaper, Miles might just be dead.
Yeah, I mean that's what 3 lords. So we've got 4, 8.
That's pretty close.
12,
Yeah.
and then however big the Mistcaller is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lethal. If you
Well,
reach
the problem is the Lord of Atlantis himself doesn't have Island Walk, I believe. So
still though, because
yeah.
the Mistcaller's a 5/5.
Yeah.
Well, it's close.
Mistcaller's a 4/4 only. Yeah, so they're only 4/4s.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess those guys are only 3/3s, so it's not quite there. Not quite there. I always assume Merfolk has lethal when they have a bunch of creatures in
It's
play.
like spreading seas
Yeah.
win the game.
Yeah. It's usually correct to assume they do.
Miles, who has won the game in deck construction by putting no islands in his deck.
Right. Just a good meta call, to be honest.
Yeah, that's just a good call in general, if you ask me.
Island hater Bradley Brown.
I'll go on the record. I'll go on the record. So Miles chunks for 6. What is that for Greg? Is that a spreading seas?
I didn't see it. Deep in the tank.
Well, that's a tough spot, you know.
Yeah, because next turn the Shadow Spear is going to make it impossible to race. Yeah.
It was spreading seas. Yeah, Miles saying uh-oh, which I think is correct. Paying the 1 for Sentinel. Greg draws Waterlog Grove.
Well, Greg's not quite right.
Well, Greg, with the confidence, taking it down. This is the key of learning a new deck. Is sometimes you don't know what your cards do.
And your opponents also will just.
Yeah.
I mean, Miles made the same assumption I made, which is that
Yeah.
you're just always dead on board to Merfolk.
And he did ask the question, am I dead? Greg answered in the affirmative, and here we are. A learning moment, certainly.
Yeah. It might also be the case that Greg's playing a pretty old version of the Lord of Atlantis. It may be worded in a weird way.
Got by Oracle text?
Yeah, because I remember those cards used to be creature lord, and they said Merfolk, like it said like it is a creature lord, and it gave Merfolk +1/+1 an island walk.
Right.
And I don't know when, and then they got errata to be a Merfolk lord, but it says other Merfolk.
It does, yeah. Other Merfolk get +1/+1 an island walk.
Yeah.
So there, what did we have? We had 2 3/3s and a 4/4.
Yeah.
So that was 10 damage
10
coming
damage,
in. Miles was at 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. I mean, he had one more card in hand. I guess we knew it was Otawara, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was tapped out for, or he had a Waterlog Grove.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we've got, is that a main deck Dismember for Greg, you reckon?
I think Merfolk usually will main deck some number of Dismember, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got main deck forces. He's
Forces.
thinking about those. I think
Yeah.
those are probably above the bar. It's pretty close though.
It is. What notable things is that getting?
Mostly just cookbook, I think.
Just cookbook?
Well, I mean Aether Vial too, which I know is Miles' deck, but Greg doesn't know.
Yeah, and cookbook is like you're getting that off Saga, you're getting that off
Yeah.
Asmo. Asmo puts it in your
Just
hand.
as I don't know about Miles' deck. It does put it in your hand.
Okay.
I don't know about Miles' deck, but my experience with playing with food decks is that if you counter the cookbook, it's actually a lot of hands get turned off. Like it is actually pretty impactful.
For sure.
Miles's build might be different than like normal food builds, where like it's not as important. But some hands, some percentage of the time, you counter the cookbook and the hand kind of falls apart. So
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I guess what it is maybe more is that I'm getting got game one by Living End or whatever, compared to like Merfolk.
Right. So Greg looking at his sideboard, Grafdigger's Cage is maybe on the menu,
Yeah, that
which is
turns
kind of a weird sideboard choice. It's like oddly narrow in this
Right.
format.
Well, maybe he just really respects Yawgmoth.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah, that is the.
It's the best possible
I
one.
did not want to lose to Yogg today.
Um, Cage does turn off recommission, which we didn't see out of Miles in game one. We know he had it, but
Right.
Greg doesn't know that.
Right.
But yeah, probably not above the bar in the matchup.
Did you see, is Miles playing New Nahiri in this deck?
I can't remember. I think he was considering it because he didn't because I was talking to him before the tournament and he was asking me if I could borrow my Scrapwork Mutts.
Right.
And so he was like considering it and he was like, if I don't get Scrapwork Mutts, maybe I'll play this or this or
Okay.
this. So who knows?
And the Temple Garden presumably is just for like Haywire Might.
That's my guess, yeah. I'm pretty sure his deck, most of the cards I saw were just red and white.
Right. And Miles has been playing a more conventional Boros Stoneblade list lately. With New Nahiri, so.
We should get Miles's takes on how he feels about potentially losing to a tribal deck.
A guest spot? Sorry, what is it? Objectively worse tribal deck than humans?
Yeah.
Miles has strong opinions about most things.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But
Well, I don't
definitely,
want to say that Miles will necessarily lose here, though. That's a little bit
It's true.
premature.
Should we update the score?
Yeah, we probably should do that, huh?
Also, yes, chat,
once
we are
we
aware
learn-
that the timer is not going. We'll get it in the next round.
Yeah, sorry about that, chat. Right match. All right, left match +1. There we go.
Here we go.
We'll go to 16 this time.
All the creatures I play are basically
How are we doing this evening, chat? Are we enjoying Magic?
Are we having a good time?
That is a pretty Stoneforge. Miles asking himself a question that I ask a lot, which is, why did I shuffle?
I do like that Stoneforge Mystic. It's a nice one.
Yeah, it's
I think
alright.
Miles's Stoneforges all seem to be mismatching.
That would be a very Miles move. So it gets Caldra, which is pretty good here. Like, Greg kind of needs Dismember specifically to deal with the Stoneforge.
That's true. I don't know how. Oh, did we just discard to hand size?
Yeah, that's rough. One lander on the draw with no one drop. Maybe there's a force there. Yeah.
So
this feels
how
pretty
does
nice out.
Caldra interact with Trickster?
Well, I think it's just a 5/5, right?
Yeah, that's true because it would maintain the power pump, I suppose.
Yeah,
So it's not a permanent solution.
right. Greg discarding the hand size again.
Yeah, I think Greg has an okay hand that had a couple spreading seas in it, and he was
Yeah.
banking on if I hit the second land, I can spreading seas a Saga.
Miles, unsure of what's happening other than I am ahead. Forgetting to untap his creatures. Mm-hmm. This looks like we're going to game 3.
Yeah, I think he's falling too far behind here.
Yeah. Miles representing another equipment in hand.
Ooh, there's a
Nettle
mutable.
cyst. Nettle cyst for Miles.
All right, so we're shuffling Spreading Seas to the front. Unfortunately, Mutavault doesn't cast most of our creatures.
Nope. And I just learned that I have Chipotle waiting for me at home.
Nice. That's a
it's
big dub.
Good night for Bradley, everyone. Very good night for me.
Yeah, it's always painful to watch someone get really mana screwed.
Yeah.
All right,
Miles, I specifically bought you 2 germs. Get out the other germ token.
Miles did not draw any sagas this game, which are making Greg's Spreading Seas look quite a bit worse.
Yeah. Greg holding up Trickster, possibly?
He can't Trickster with color. It's double blue, but he can do the
Oh,
Vodalian
okay, fair.
Hexcatcher. Yeah.
Is that not also double blue?
No, that one's 1 in a blue.
Okay. So he's chumping the Cauldron. Well, Cauldron has trample.
Yeah, he might just be turbo dead here.
Yeah, this seems pretty dead. Yeah. I'm not sure what draw Greg has here, but he's learning the deck. Yeah, the 3rd Spreading Seas is not what you're looking for. Well,
Sometimes you just gotta keep those juicy one-landers on the draw and hope you get there, and he didn't get there.
yeah. How many lands does Fish play? Probably like 21, 22?
I would guess something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you also have Vials.
Yeah, and you kind of top your curve at 3.
Right.
Svelin.
Well, I don't know if it would have bailed me out, but
All right, so we're 1-1.
1-1.
Going through these matches quick. Sorry about not starting the timer. Don't know how quick. Time is frozen.
We can probably go check when we. Do you know how to manipulate the camera as well?
I do.
Wow.
I do know how to do it.
Wow. Okay.
We can
Can
quickly.
we do that for fun here?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Ooh,
Is that a
wow.
preset? So you just hit a button and it zooms over?
There is a way to do manual.
Okay.
So we got Enchantress.
This is Mill versus Enchantress.
Wow.
Again, the siblings, Connor and Alicia or Alicia. I am not certain how they pronounce their name.
Cool.
Maybe we'll get to see some of that. Those were those cool pixel forests, the snow-covered basics as well.
Nice.
Good taste from
Yeah.
one of the Frenches.
Yeah, I'll. We can also, so we have the cameras all on presets, but we can also manually
Gotcha.
move it
Gotcha.
around.
I'll try not to ruin it. Should we give a little shout out to our friend Phil?
Oh yeah, Phil Maher, if you're
Yeah.
watching, we saw your amazing performance at the RC this weekend. Well, we didn't see it, but we just saw it in the standings.
We saw the standings. Phil missed top 8, but I'm told by Nick that he qualified for the Pro Tour.
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Phil, classic Grixis Shadow and Murktide grinder here in Modern, but that was standard.
It was standard.
Presumably playing standard or Grixis in standard as well,
Maybe.
which
I
I
have no
believe
idea.
is the consensus best deck in the format. That may not be the case. Don't quote me on that. I've literally never played standard, so.
Yeah, standard was somewhat interesting to watch. I feel like there's a lot of complexity creep in Magic, not just power creep, where a lot of the cards have like essays on them,
Yeah.
and that has made standard a lot more like difficult for me to grok when I'm just watching at a glance.
Yeah.
Where I don't want to read all the cards.
Yeah. I believe that there hasn't been a vanilla creature printed since Strixhaven, although that may have changed recently. Which is good,
Yeah, who needs vanilla creatures?
Yeah, they're boring.
Yeah. All right. So it's interesting that Miles has Esper Sentinels in his deck in post-board games. I'm not saying that's wrong, but it is worth interesting, and he may not have enough sideboard cards to bring in.
Right.
So Miles still doing the Merfolk Trickster check here.
Yeah.
A little bit bold, but
Eh,
it seems to have worked out fine.
Maybe he's got a removal spell hiding in his
Yeah,
hand, but
possible.
it looks like at least one recommission, maybe.
Oh yeah, maybe his plan was to get it killed and then recommission it. So he has a 2/2 instead.
Is that the clause that gets a counter?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets a +1/+1 counter.
All right. So this felon would be pretty good, kind of irrespective of what else is happening on the board. Spilling a 3/4 legendary Merfolk.
Yeah, Cerulean a very pushed card, but I think the kind of card that's we like to see in Modern Horizons set. That's really helps out Merfolk a lot, um, and yeah, just a all around really powerful card.
Some card draw, big butt.
Yeah,
No, wait, no.
helps your other Merfolk with the ward effect.
One, I get 16.
Sort of the anti-fury.
Right.
Yeah.
Prismatic ending for 3.
I mean, this is the ultimate.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh,
Miles can charge up those prismatic endings with Temple Garden, I suppose,
true.
and consider that. All right, so Greg did keep the forces in. It gets quite a bit better when you know that your opponent also has prismatic ending in addition to the cookbooks.
So we got a Lord of Atlantis, Hexcatcher, Force. That looks like a. What's the like? Is that a Harbinger of the Tides? They're not playing that, are they?
Could be. It does show up from time to time.
What's the one that has flash if you pay a couple extra? Is
Yeah,
that one?
that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
and it can bounce a tapped creature.
That's
yeah,
right.
people play that card sometimes.
Yeah. The last time I played Merfolk was like 2 or 3 years ago. Just online, contemplating building it in paper. It was much worse then.
Right.
Had a pretty
Yeah,
good showing.
Merfolk was a bit of a meme for a long time before like the combination of Sveljun plus the Vidalian Hexcatcher really brought it back to like, you know, not an embarrassing.
Yeah, it's actually quite a solid choice. I
Yeah.
think it did very well this weekend, which may be a big part of why Greg is playing it.
Yeah.
Two reps in the top 8 of one of the challenges. There's so many challenges on
That's
the weekends
true.
now. It's kind of hard to
Yes,
keep
there's
track.
like 4 of them every weekend. Yeah.
Yeah,
More opportunities for me to scrub out.
that's right. That's right. Tide Shaper, cutting Miles off green. A little niche. You would rather do that on a Saga, but not terrible. This feels like a much more commanding board state for Greg.
Yeah, when you hit your land drops, that tends to work out better for you than when you don't.
Yeah, it's true. So we got Force, Lord of Atlantis, and then that card I thought was Harbinger is the Tide Shaper. So no Harbinger in Greg's hand.
Oh, okay, just
Yeah.
yeah. All right, we got a shock to 10. We don't have Island Walk yet, so
Right. But there is the Lord in his hand.
all right, that's gonna make some blockers. Well, from Miles' perspective, yes.
Right.
Greg may
Miles-
have the Island Walk rolled up.
Miles forgetting to make elementals after pitching Sentinel and recommission there.
He may be. Yeah, that's a partial trigger. You can't really miss it. All right, Greg's
There we
around
go.
him.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Greg.
yeah,
Well done.
yeah. So that's not like a thing you can really miss if you do
Right,
the
if
drawing.
if you do the drawing,
yeah,
you have to make the
yeah,
things.
Yeah,
Seasoned Pyramids are quickly becoming one of my favorite Magic cards.
it is a really sweet design. Yeah,
It's
I
a
really
very
like it
cool
as well.
card. Yeah.
Do I use foil backside or foil frontside?
Well,
Miles flexing on us with his elemental tokens here.
how long will you get to look at them is the question. So we've got several fairly large creatures coming in unchecked and drawing a card.
Never don't have
have
it.
it. And the Mutavault, that's
That's
curtains
gonna
for
be game.
Miles.
You never don't have it.
Even Merfolk.
To be fair, Miles,
oppressive.
Merfolk has 8 lords that give Island Walk, so
Yeah.
it is true that they never don't
They
have
never
it.
don't have it. It's true. Well, a good match there in our lead match.